Hello, everyone. My name is Ginger Strauss. I'm here with Daniel J. Butler from the Will County Board, and I've learned that the Federal Scholarship Tax Credit Act has hit Will County. Can you tell us about that, Dan?
Yeah, so a group, the Illinois Policy Institute, came in and was presenting the idea of putting a referendum on the ballot, which is just a question. So when people go to vote, they can read it and then answer yes or no. And basically, it was just to ask the people of Will County, but obviously all of Illinois, if they would want to opt in to this program, which allows private donations to be given to SGOs, and that way children that come from low-income families would have access to these scholarships, and it would be for kids that go to public schools as well.
So, who are the private donors?
The private donors can be any companies or people, and they can donate up to $1,700, and just people that want to donate because they have the extra money and they choose to have a say in how their tax dollars are being spent. That way they can get tax credits back and use them to pay off their taxes for their business or whatever.
Okay, so my understanding is that an individual can choose to donate into this program regardless if the state has opted in to receive this SGO funding, correct?
Correct.
So this is going to be applicable no matter what, whether the state's opted.
Yes, the only difference is that we won't be able to get access to that money. We won't have any access because we did not opt in. It's as simple as that.
And who's deciding whether we're opting in or not?
The governor.
Okay.
So this was a way to allow the governor to see what the people want.
So what was discussed on the county board, well, it ended up being voted out, right? It did not move forward. Yeah. Was for the referendum to address the question whether Will County voters would be interested in the state opting into this program.
Right. It's really a no-brainer. I mean, people are privately donating money. So people like that tend to donate that money regardless of who it goes to. They just think it's a good cause, which it is. And so that's going to happen. But now if we don't opt in, people from other states who have opted in will have access to that pool of money. And keep in mind, this isn't the state taxes. This is federal income tax. So it doesn't affect the state at all, except for the fact that we get to, benefit from it.
I don't understand. Again, I agree with you that this is a no-brainer, right? I don't understand why there is any dissenting opinion on this specifically in Will County. Can you explain what the dissenting opinion is?
Well, I don't fully understand either because some of the questions that were raised didn't really make sense to me. Like, well, we don't know enough about this. It's pretty clear, and it was explained to us what it was. And, we're not deciding whether or not we opt in. We're only asking to allow the people to decide if they would want to opt in. And then even at that, it doesn't mean anything. It's the governor who makes the final decision. So basically what we've done is taken away the ability of the voters to have a say, and at least to voice their opinion. So that's the part that confuses me. It's not as though anybody is going to be making a decision that is going to affect tax dollars. we're just asking if the people of Will County would like the state to opt in.
Sure. And then Pritzker could use this information in his ultimate decision making, right? It's just data from a county given to the governor. So he could weigh in that data and make that decision.
100%. That's all it is.
Which is, in my opinion, very democratic. And I'll be honest, I had no idea that this was even happening at all. Because I know that this came from the Big Beautiful Bill. There's a lot of items in the Big Beautiful Bill. I haven't heard about this one until it became relevant in the county. Do you believe that most people in Will County would know that our state has to opt in order for us to have any opportunity of being able to move forward with this benefit?
Most people in Illinois wouldn't even know that this was an option to them. They would have no idea that this would even exist. And, my personal thoughts are, because, it's been out on Facebook and people talked about it, and, I'm reading, Democrats don't think public funds should be used for private schools. Well, okay, first of all, I don't agree with that statement, because are all private schools filled with Republicans? Are there no Democrats that go to private schools? And, if you go to a community college, seems like a lot of people that go to community colleges are kids that are working their way through college. And you don't think that a scholarship that would help them to pay for books, or tutoring or whatever wouldn't be, really helpful? I think it would. So I don't agree with, their opposition to this.
Sure. I mean, do you want to give your general opinion on this specific program before we start getting into the nitty-gritty of it specifically being in Will County and the referendum itself?
So the first time this program came, up in front of the board in one of the committees, Steve Balich had brought it to everyone's attention. And I thought, wow, this is a great program, on so many levels. It's not often that when you are paying your taxes that you have the ability to have some say-so on how your tax money's spent. So if you could donate $1,700 to one of these SGOs in Will County, you could kind of, you get tax credits, and that would come off your tax bill. So in effect, you're having say in how your tax dollars are being spent. These local SGOs can actually choose to give the money to people from Will County. So it actually directs us right here at home. Illinois is what they call a donor state. And what that means is that we pay out way more money to the federal government than we receive in benefits. And this would be a way to counter that, right? You could, people could donate money and it would actually come back right here in Will County and be used in Will County. So,
and what students qualify? They have to be from a lower income level, correct? Or their families?
Right. It's a lower medium, I'm not sure exact number, but if families are making a couple $100,000 a year, they're not getting access to this. This is for people who don't have the money.
Sure, and the people who are making that much in income could potentially be the donors to the program. So.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe their kids, graduated and they just felt like they had some extra money and they wanted to do that. There's a lot of people that would do it.
A personal opinion, I mean, I love the ability to have some sort of choice what's being done with my tax dollars because it's not always transparent. So I think this is a great proposition in general, and I do hope that Pritzker, or I hope that the governor is interested in the state opting in the program, because regardless, any individual can decide to donate, whether they're in Illinois, Kansas, Arkansas, and whatever it is. But if our state doesn't opt in, then the students here can't apply for those funds. So.
Exactly. And I do believe that Pritzker is interested in this because, if a large population of your state says that this is something they believe in, well, as a representative of the people, I would imagine that would weigh heavily on his decision-making process.
I completely agree with you. And there have been other counties that have put this forward to have it on the ballot, correct?
Yes.
Do you know how many?
I don't, but I know that there were counties right around, our collar counties that were, supporting it.
Yeah, I just don't quite understand why we wouldn't want to have this on our ballot.
It's confusing to me. All I can say is my experience is a lot of times if Republicans bring something up and, it's not business as usual, there's a knee-jerk response to just say no, whether it makes sense or not.
So you think the reason why this did not move forward is because of partisan issues?
I guess, I don't understand what else it could be.
Okay.
And many situations that come up are like this, where you just don't understand. It makes perfect sense. And it's always kind of like one group says no. It's not like one or two people from here or one or two people from this side. One side brings it up, and the other side says no.
I find it a little ironic that the Democratic side wouldn't be for having the opinion of Will County voiced to Pritzker.
Yeah, it sounds like they don't want the voice of the people to be heard. Maybe they don't trust the people to make a good decision, and they want to control that by denying it on the ballot.